July 18, 1944. A hedgerow-lined farm road outside St. Lo, Normandy. The morning air smells of wet earth, crushed grass, and cordite drifting from artillery batteries miles away. American infantrymen move cautiously through the narrow lanes. Their uniforms are stained with mud. Their boots sink into the soft ground. Somewhere ahead, hidden behind thick hedges and shattered stone walls, German snipers are waiting. Private First Class Harold Jenkins freezes as a single rifle shot cracks across the field. Everyone hits the ground. The sound echoes through the hedgerows. A second shot follows. Then silence. No one moves. No one speaks. The men scan every window, every tree line, every dark opening in the countryside. They know the sniper is watching. They just don't know from where. Then something strange happens. An American officer rises from behind the ditch. He stands almost fully exposed. He unfolds a map. He begins speaking calmly to another officer. The sniper never fires. Minutes later, a sergeant crawls only a few yards away. A shot rings out. The sergeant falls instantly. The sniper had ignored the officer. But why? Across Europe, German snipers developed a reputation that terrified Allied soldiers. They were patient, disciplined, exceptionally skilled. Many could remain hidden for days. Some recorded dozens of confirmed kills. And yet, again and again, American troops noticed a curious pattern. German snipers often targeted radio operators, machine gun crews, scouts, messengers. But American officers seemed to survive encounters that should have killed them. At first, many soldiers dismissed it as luck. Others believed officers simply stayed farther back. But that explanation didn't fit reality. In Normandy, officers frequently led attacks from the front. In Italy, they walked among infantry positions under direct fire. In the Ardennes, they directed defenses while artillery exploded around them. Many were visible. Many were exposed. Yet somehow, they often escaped the attention of enemy marksmen. The mystery became even stranger when Allied intelligence officers began examining captured German documents. The Germans were not blind. They were not incompetent. They knew exactly how important officers were. Military doctrine had long taught that eliminating leaders could cripple enemy units. Remove the head, and the body often follows. So, why would trained German snipers deliberately ignore some of the most valuable targets on the battlefield? The answer lies in a hidden difference between the American army and nearly every army Germany had faced before. It was a difference so subtle that most soldiers never noticed it. A difference stitched into uniforms, buried inside military culture, hidden in plain sight. And that difference would frustrate some of the deadliest marksmen of the Second World War. For centuries, officers were meant to be seen. In the age of muskets and cavalry charges, visibility was not a weakness. It was a necessity. Soldiers fighting through smoke and confusion needed someone to follow. European officers wore bright uniforms, gold braid, decorative hats, distinctive insignia. They stood out deliberately. Leadership was visual. If men could see their officers, they knew where to go. The tradition survived into the 20th century. During the First World War, British, French, German, and Russian officers often wore distinctive uniforms. Many paid for that visibility with their lives. Snipers quickly learned to identify rank badges. A single glimpse through a scope could reveal the leader of an entire unit. By the Second World War, armies understood the danger, but old habits die slowly. German officers still carried visual indicators of rank. Collar tabs, shoulder boards, decorations, distinctive equipment. Experienced snipers became experts at spotting these clues. Yet the United States Army had evolved differently. American military culture emphasized practical leadership. Many officers dressed almost exactly like the men they commanded. At a distance, distinguishing them became extremely difficult. A lieutenant and a private often appeared nearly identical, especially in combat. The difference became even more significant because American officers frequently removed obvious rank insignia near the front. They understood the risk. Stories circulated throughout the Army. New officers arriving in combat zones were often warned immediately. Do not make yourself an easy target. Some literally darkened insignia with mud. Others removed markings entirely. Many carried rank symbols only when absolutely necessary. German snipers searching for traditional indicators suddenly face a problem. The visual clues they relied upon were disappearing. But there was another factor, an even bigger one: American leadership doctrine. Unlike many armies of the period, the U.S. Army encouraged decentralized decision-making. Junior officers and non-commissioned officers possessed significant authority. If one leader was killed, another could often continue the mission immediately. German intelligence officers repeatedly observed this phenomenon. Destroying a single American officer frequently failed to create the chaos they expected. The unit kept moving. The attack continued. Orders were still being executed. This reduced the strategic value of targeting specific individuals. Meanwhile, American officers often behaved differently from their counterparts in other armies. Many deliberately avoided displaying authority through appearance. Instead, they led through presence. Shared hardship. Personal example. A German sniper might spend hours observing a position, searching for commander. Everyone looked the same. Everyone carried similar equipment. Everyone moved constantly. Who exactly was in charge? The answer was often impossible to determine. Captured German reports occasionally express frustration with identifying American command structures. The battlefield itself made matters worse. Normandy's hedgerows blocked visibility. Italian mountains fragmented observation. Forest fighting in the Ardennes reduced sight lines dramatically. The perfect sniper shot required identification. Identification required observation. Observation required clues. And the clues kept disappearing. Still, German snipers adapted. They began watching behavior instead of uniforms. Who carried maps? Who gave orders? Who attracted attention? But even here, the Americans created confusion. Sergeants often carried maps. Radio operators communicated directly with higher headquarters. Experienced NCOs issued commands. Leadership responsibilities overlapped. The traditional hierarchy appeared blurred. To a sniper watching through a scope, everyone looked important, which raised a dangerous question. If every soldier might be a leader, who should be targeted first? The answer was no longer obvious. And on a battlefield, uncertainty can be deadly. By 1944, this invisible advantage had become one of the most underrated strengths of the American Army. Not because officers could not be killed. Many were. Thousands died leading from front. But because locating them had become far more difficult than German snipers expected. And when a sniper cannot identify the leader, he loses one of his greatest advantages. Yet the ultimate proof would emerge not from doctrine manuals or intelligence reports. It would emerge from combat itself. Return to that farm road outside St. Lo. The sniper is still watching. The American column is still moving. Maps unfold. Orders are given. Men advance through the hedgerows. Somewhere among them stand the officer. But from hundreds of yards away, identifying has become nearly impossible. The sniper sees soldiers. Not ranks. Not titles. Not status. Just soldiers. And that changes everything. Throughout the war, American officers continued to suffer casualties. Many died leading attacks. Many earned decorations for extraordinary courage. Yet the larger system endured. When one leader fell, another stepped forward. When communication broke down, initiative filled the gap. When uncertainty appeared, responsibility spread across the organization. The real secret was never invisibility in the literal sense. German snipers could still see American officers. What they often could not do was identify them quickly enough to exploit the opportunity. The American Army had accidentally created something remarkably modern, a battlefield culture where leadership was distributed rather than concentrated, where authority existed throughout the unit, where success depended less on a single individual and more on the collective ability of many people to act. That lesson extends far beyond World War II. History often celebrates famous generals, the names at the top, the faces and photographs. But organizations rarely succeed because of one person alone. They succeed because knowledge, trust, and responsibility exist at every level. That is why this story matters. Not because a sniper missed a shot, not because officers became ghosts, but because one army discovered that the best way to protect leadership was to make leadership harder to isolate. And in doing so, they became stronger than anyone expected. If you enjoyed this story, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and share your thoughts below. Have you ever heard another overlooked World War II story that deserves attention? Let us know in the comments. Because in the end, this was never really about snipers. It was about what happens when leadership stops belonging to a single person and becomes something shared by everyone.